Lumix just released the S1R2, and this thing is absolutely insane. If you're already a Lumix shooter, this is a fantastic upgrade, and if you're not already a Lumix shooter, this could be a great reason to switch over, especially with specs like a 60 megapixel full-frame sensor, a really wide variety of recording formats, being able to shoot 8K on all of them. Of course, it's Panasonic, so you're getting the best IBIS in the business, and on top of that, you have the ability to record 32-bit float audio. Another feature that Lumix put into this camera for the first time is this screen can actually not only fold, but it also tilts out as well. And this feature is more common on photography cameras, which really just emphasizes how good of a hybrid camera this actually is. But most importantly, we already have a cage for it. Now, before I get into too many specs, I want to go over how to install the cage because it can be a little tricky if you're doing it for the first time. So I've gone ahead and taken these apart to kind of show you what this should look like. This cage should ship like this, but in case it doesn't, this is how you should have this pre-built. This is the top plate with the airy rosette and this left plate here, along with the mid-rail attached, and of course the bottom plate with the right plate as well. So we'll go ahead and start by attaching the bottom plate on the bottom of the camera. There's this little tongue that extends from the right plate that goes right into the eyelet of the camera, and that provides some extra stability there for you. So go ahead and put that on and screw it in on the bottom. I like to leave it a little bit loose to start to provide some extra wiggle room. Following that, we're going to take this top plate, and this is assuming you've taken out all the screws from the side, and essentially it should just fit right on top, nice and easy. This tongue on the right goes right into this groove here on this right plate, and there's another tongue on the left plate here. It might be a little hard to see, but that goes right into the eyelet, the left eyelet of the camera. It goes on just like that, nice and easy. And then all you do is reinsert the screws. So of course, once that's on, don't forget to fully tighten this bolt on the bottom here. This cage is meant to be left on, but in case you do want to take it off, if you're like just doing photo and you have a small bag and you want to pack it away nice and tight and get it as small as possible, there are laser etchings on these screws that you are supposed to take out. The ones that you just put in, it's marking those screws to take out just so you still have those same two pieces and it's easy for you to put back on. So now that we have the cage on, let's get into some of the features. Number one, there are NATO rails on every side of this camera. We also have the airy rosette on the left side here. This is also industry standard, which works fantastic for attaching things like a side handle. We have the built-in bubble level, which has become a staple on a lot of Condor Blue cages. A sensor plane marker, which is super helpful if you're running like a really professional cinema rig on a high production value set. And a feature I really like is this 3/8 thread with locating pinholes on the front here, which you can use a thread adapter down to 1/4 and with that, you can take one of our M12 thread adapters, put that on, and from there you can screw on a rod where you can run a motorized follow focus off of. So you can get a really cool, lightweight, motorized follow focus setup without having to add things like a base plate and rods, so you can keep your setup nice and light. Now, if you've been paying really close attention, you may have noticed this extra little piece right here. Now, this is something we've just designed. This is a toggle switch extender. So this will allow you to toggle your video to photo modes without having to take off your cage, because the toggle switch that comes on this body is a bit small. And despite it being really, really similar to the S5 II and S5 IIX, they did move this dial over to the left, making it a bit harder to get to, but this will be shipping with this cage. Now that we've talked about some of the basics and the key features of this cage, let's get into what cages are really for, and that is rigging. So one of the first things I want to mention is the optional HDMI clamp. And that, obviously, will just go right over your HDMI port. You'll see these two airy locating pinholes on the side that line up perfectly with it. And that just thumb screws in nice and easy, just like that. One of the first accessories I always recommend for any rig, and this is where a lot of people start, is the top handle. So right now I'm going to use the ProBlade SSD top handle because this camera is capable of recording directly to SSDs, and this is a nice, elegant solution to that type of recording, so you don't have to add on any extra bulky accessories. You just have a nice, clean setup, just like that. It acts as a handle and a recorder, and then it just goes, a USB-C cable just goes from the handle into the port on the side of the camera. And now you have recording and an extra place to grab. Now, an alternative handle to this SSD I wanted to show you is the Talon top handle. Now this is just a nice ergonomic grip, which comes with most of our pre-built rigs, and it goes on the exact same way. But the main reason I wanted to show you this is because the back here allows for extra mounting options. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this ARRI cold shoe adapter, and I am going to move this out of the way and screw this onto the back of this mini V-mount plate. And this will allow external power and external battery to mount on the back of the top handle. First thing I'll do is I'll take the bolt, which I've already taken out here, out of the back, and we'll screw in this little thread adapter to bring that down to 1/4-20. And then, because this has a 1/4-20 on it, this ARRI cold shoe adapter, and ARRI locating pins and pinholes, so you have some nice anti-twist functionality in there. We'll go ahead and screw this on. Just like that. So now I can take the backside of my handle and just fit this right into the cold shoe, and then this little ring just tightens down on it just like that. And now you have battery options on the back of your handle, and you didn't even have to add rods or a base plate or anything. So I see a lot of people doing this, and we show this off a lot at trade shows that we go to as just a really nice external power option that keeps your rig nice and light. Now, expanding off of that, a top handle offers a lot more than just a place to grab. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this NATO to NATO monitor mount here, and you'll see that there is a NATO rail right on the front of this top handle. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take this monitor mount, and I'm just going to put it right on the front there. Now I'm going to take a monitor with a NATO monitor mount on the bottom, and this will slide in nice and easy and toollessly into the monitor mount. And I'm just tightening it with the thumb screw right here on this side. So there we go. Now we have a nice big monitor to make it nice and easy for viewing. And when it comes to handles, I'm not going to stop there. I want to add a wing side grip. Now, what's cool about these is they're universal, left or right. This actually unscrews off, and the bolt in here comes all the way out, and this can switch sides and be used as a right handle grip. But right now we're taking advantage of this ARRI rosette, and we're going to attach this wing side grip. But we're not just going to attach this, we're also going to use our Pro Pivot rosette module. So this essentially just goes in between and allows us to freely rotate, with just the twist of our thumb, our handle around. So it makes it really easy to get low angle shots, or it frees up the movement. And the handle itself goes on with a little twist of the fingers, just like that. And now I can just super easily rotate this around however I see fit. So now this makes for a really great handheld setup. Say we want to mount on a tripod, or even if we're going back and forth, here's where we need to get a little bit bigger. So now we're going to add a base plate and rods, so we can add extra accessories like bringing our battery plate back, which we have Pro battery plates, which have a lot more connection types, or if you want to add something like a mat box that's rod mounted. There's a lot of different things that can mount to rods on like a professional production setup. So for the base plate, I'm going to go ahead and mount the 501 plate, because we're using the 501 quick release version of the base plate for this. And these two bolts will just mount right into the bottom of the bottom plate here. There we go. And with 2 bolts, there's some good anti-twist. So now we just need the base plate itself. And this just goes in right from the side here and clicks right in. And I'll turn this around so you can see. It just thumb tightens, just like that. And now you're nice and locked in. And so from here, we are able to mount rods. Go ahead and use these 8-inch rods here. Just go in just like that. Thumb tightens down. One of the things I love about Condor Blue stuff is for a lot of it, you don't need tools. And now that we have rods attached, this opens up mounting for our Pro battery plate. And this is super simple to put on. There's a rod block, which comes attached to it, but right now I have it vertically mounted. But if you have a different type of setup where you need this to run maybe flatter like this can actually unscrew and be mounted on any side of this battery plate that you need. So it's nice and versatile too. So I'm gonna go ahead and just attach it on the back, just like that. Tighten these thumb screws down, and we're good to go. Now we have external power as well. And this is another reason we added these extra handles, is because once you do start to rig this out and it gets a little bit heavier, you definitely want some more secure points to grab onto. And even still, it's running it like this, it feels great handheld. And since we're talking big production, I went ahead and added a lens so I could put on a matte box, and this would work fantastic for a larger production, especially if you want to add things like a follow focus or wireless video transmission. But this is just one way to rig out this camera. With the myriad of Condor Blue accessories, there's an unlimited amount of ways to rig out one of these cameras, especially one as versatile as the S1R2. But for this video, guys, that's it. I'm Bubby with Condor Blue, and don't forget to stay creative.